Well, that's the best dog ever right there. He was dreaming a while ago, and I was talking to the Lord, and I said, Lord, I wonder what dogs are dreaming about. You reckon they're dreaming about chasing rabbits or getting a stick or something like that? Because his eyes was just a-going and the mouth was just a-chomping. Anyway. So here we are. I've kind of been working on my room a little bit. I don't know. It gives me a lot of time being in here to talk with the Lord and figure things out in my head. So, yesterday, went to Athens, Tennessee. Spent some time with my oldest son because my middle son, Jonah, today's his birthday. He's 26. Whew. He's autistic, has some autism, and he's type 1 diabetic. So we have come so far. But it was kind of a bitter, sad day, you know, because my daughter, Alex, and her husband live in Athens, and I don't have a relationship with them. And just found out, too, that she's pregnant, and had to find that out secondhand, so that was a heavy blow. But mentally, I'm learning to deal with it. I wish my head would tell my heart that, though. I don't know, but God reminded me that our heart is desperately wicked. But one thing I think I've struggled with all my life, from having such a terrible childhood, abusive childhood, lack of love, definitely in my childhood. So I've always been loud and boisterous and silly because I just found out from the Lord that that's my way of trying to get love, trying to earn love. So I'm 60 now, and I've learned that just to be still. You know, I really, really, really know what those words mean now. Be still and know that I am God. Man, that's a lesson right there in itself, right? I mean, some people used to call me, and they still do call me crazy or simple-minded or whatever. And that's okay, whatever. You know, it used to hurt my feelings, you know. I used to come at them, you know, and growl and holler, but now I just, like the other day, an elder woman in our church, she hurt my feelings. I dwelled on that, guys, for about 2 or 3 days. And that's, to me, I look at it now, and God was talking to me this morning. I was talking to him. That's wasted time. That's precious time that you could... Why am I worried about, you know, I don't know where it come from because I didn't have good raising, but I've always respected the elders. And I love to be around them. I love their wisdom. But I'm one to look at people and just, you know, put a lot of stock in them. And buy them gifts. You know, I'm a giver. I never get anything in return, which I don't expect. God says for you to give and not expect anything in return. But, you know, if somebody was to buy me a gift or something, or roses or something like that, I would totally probably faint on the floor because they just don't do it. People don't do that for me, and I don't expect it. You know, well, I do somewhat, and that's a little bit of... I better not say it like that, because, you know, you do around your birthday and Christmas and stuff like that. Well, so-and-so might get me. No, well, you know, I guess you get my age, and you think, it's not that the hope is gone in people, it's just the realization of... And it's not a bad realization. On one hand it is, and on the other hand it's not. It's just a very secure feeling of saying to yourself and your conscience, your spirit, that God is the only one you can trust. He will never backstab you or be two-faced. And I mean, I have dropped my jaw at some of the things my own blood, the children I gave birth to, have said or done. It blows my mind. There's no loyalty anymore these days. And so I embrace every day. You know, people say, you're weird. You stay alone. You don't date. You don't. Well, I did all that, you know. I was married 28 years, and that turned against, you know. So I don't want to do anything on my own anymore. I want to do it God's way, and I want His will to be done, because everything it seems like in my life that I've ever touched or messed with, besides my children, and I think those are just definitely gifts from God. It's just the last few years since I've been clean, recovering addict, you know, or I am a recovered addict, that I can embrace that I am somebody, by golly. I'm not just a wife. I'm not just a mother. I have an identity. And God formed me too. Even though I didn't grow up like so-and-so in a perfect family in a church with sister so-and-so. I am somebody. He has to get people like me alone that are hungry for love and seek others' approval. He has to do that to get us alone, to teach us. Sometimes it's hard. I'm like, you know, but you know, I used to cry, and I'd have panic attacks when I'd be alone. Oh, goodness gracious, I had to have a room full of people or I would, you know, that's not right. That's just not right. Now, I'm learning to be content. And the nice thing, the sweetest thing of all is I can feel God right with me. Where before I was fighting it, chasing my tail. And anyway, come a long ways. But I wanted to say happy birthday to my son Jonah today. What a journey that young man has had and is going to have. Jonah was diagnosed with autism at 9, which is just a touch. He has the high functioning. And then he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at 3. Matter of fact, he was the first male in our county to have type 1 diabetes. And we made the newspaper and everything. It was devastating. And I have fell short of my children. I have. But I wished I'd have known what I know now. I've given my life to my kids. I don't date. I don't, you know, do any of that. I socialize at church maybe, but it is what it is. And I think I've sowed my wild oats in my life, and not saying I don't deserve to be happy, but I don't need to find my happiness in a man. And if God blesses me with one, amen. Hey, that'd be wonderful, but it's going to be of God. It ain't going to be any other way. Hey, God's going to send him, and I'm going to know it. If not, then I am just content. I'm married to God anyway. That's my first love. So, and my children, you know, so. Anyway, happy birthday, Jonah. Y'all had to hear my stuff. Just ranting all in here. Anyway, everybody have a blessed day. And Roscoe says, adios, amigos. I'm taking the siesta. Bye, guys.